Tonight, the mythic race to world first gets some drama. Plus, we'll have more information on patch 7.2 and a heck of a lot more as Convert to Raid presents the Battlenet News. Welcome, everybody, to the Battlenet News broadcast bunker from deep in the heart of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Today is January 31st, last day of January 2017, and it is now 10:13 in the p.m. Central Time. Thanks for joining us from all around the Blizzard universe. My name is Pat Crane. I am your host, not with the most, but I wanted to say it. I don't know why.
Do it.
I don't know why. No, I'm not going to say it. Not going to say it.
It's your show, Pat. You can say whatever you want.
True. But the players are here, and we'll get to those guys right now. So from Lords of the Storm and from a place much warmer than here, it's Gizmo.
What are you talking about? It's freezing here. It's been in like the 60s. I don't even know how to handle it. But
Get out. Stop.
Okay.
Cut to the next guy.
He's off the show. All right. Now we're moving on. He's an adult with a job, and he's a part of the Ermagerd offensive. It's Sharku.
Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing today?
Okay, you're done,
We're
too.
having a
You're
good
done,
time.
too. You're done, too.
On to the next guy.
And we'll go on to the guy from Met and The Payload podcast over on BlizzPro.com. It's John Horstmann.
Pat, it is raining blues and purples here in the No Legendary Club right now.
I like it.
It is raining. I'm just dancing, just having a good time. Look at the one hot skip, the two hot skip. Here we are in the No Legendary Club. It feels great to be here, Pat.
Doesn't it, though? Doesn't it, though?
Yeah, it feels pretty good.
It's great when you're part of the No Legendary Club. I'm a part of the One Legendary Club, and, not really.
I still can't.
No one likes a bragger.
I still can't wait for the day when John gets his legendary and realizes that it's not going to be this great, grand, awesome thing that he thinks it is, and joins me on the take down the Legion Legendary system club.
No.
Right.
No.
Whatever.
No.
You don't think so?
I'm actually pretty good at my specs, so I would just
you don't need the legendary.
like a legendary.
Oh, shots fired. By the way,
all right.
Sharku has ditched the headset mic and is going for a regular mic. So congratulations, Shark.
You see this?
Nice work.
Woo. I had some help from a friend, and I really appreciate it. Lending me this mic until I can get my together.
Right.
Or whatever.
I gotcha. So welcome, fellas, and welcome everybody around town and about the world of Warcraft and beyond. We have a lot to talk about, I know, and we have to catch up on some stuff from last week because Gizmo, you weren't here. But we'll get to because Heroes stuff. Sharku, you weren't here either, so we were lacking in Heroes stuff. So
get with it, guys.
I know. We really got to do that. But first,
best show ever.
Right.
Sorry.
But first, let's go around the room and just see what's going on. Gizmo, what is going on with you right now?
Oh, man. So this past week, I have admittedly just been on a Heroes binge because of HTC, which we'll get into later. But I got the Heroes bug real bad right now. Real bad.
All right. And there's no cure. No cure.
There's no cure.
No
just
cure.
more cowbell.
Cowbell.
From ETC.
Yep.
Right.
There it is.
I love ETC. He's so good. He's so good.
Etc. He's so good.
Turned up to 11.
Yep. So, Shark, how about you? What have you been up to, buddy?
About the opposite of Giz, unfortunately. Well, maybe not. I don't know.
You got
anyway,
a haircut. You got a hair and beard cut.
It was a beard cut. The hair is just, it looks like it's shorter, but it's not.
Because the beard is shorter.
It's not. It's just the beard's shorter and the hair's falling out. That's what's happening. That's the key there.
It's a great combination.
Yeah, not so much Heroes. Not so. Yeah, oh God. Not so much Heroes of the Storm for me in the past few. I know that that was my bag for quite a while, but I have really been digging WoW, and I leveled since last time. I leveled my mage to 110. I've already got it up to I level 845 or something like that.
Wow.
So
you're welcome.
I had a lot of help from people running a lot of Mythic Pluses carrying me through. I got Mythic Plus pants in my thing today, which I needed pants. My pants were like $7.93 or some garbage.
If you're a raider, every raider knows you don't actually need pants. You're fine.
True.
You're fine without
and
them.
Podcasters know that as well.
Man, I was just so happy that those pants dropped. All I was wanting was a nice pants drop.
Wow. You want a pants drop? Never mind.
That's what I need.
Never mind. Not going to go there.
Watch them pants drop into my hands.
It's okay.
Anyway, I'm just making it as gross as I can.
All right.
But yeah, lots of heroes, or lots of Warcraft, and ready to raid with. I'm going to be tanking again. Darn you, Kalani.
Yep.
With Ermagerd tomorrow, but ready to get in there and
I've been bearing it up in doing the world quests and stuff like that.
Won't
No, I'm not ready to raid tank yet, but I may try to go into some heroics and just kind of test my mettle on some of that stuff.
Yeah,
but I need to get a group that will understand that I have never done that before. So it's been
never tanked before.
Well, it's been so I did some tanking back in ICC, not in the raid, but in the dungeons and stuff like that, and I was terrible at it. Because I refused to do the blood tank, because back then you could do any kind of tank that you wanted to. So I would frost tank because I wanted to buck the system, and everybody thought I was terrible, and they were probably right. So that kind of learned me a lesson there. And then I went over into healing, and I was like, oh, I can just heal? Sure, I'll do this for a while. And that was many, many moons ago. So there. But
tanks have changed a lot. Maybe you'll like it. Maybe you'll like it this day. Give it a shot.
Yeah.
It's a lot more simple, I think, than back in those days as well.
Well, and that's part of the deal too, is that they've taken away a lot of buttons, and so that kind of makes it a little bit easier to
it's more about just managing your cooldowns, making sure you have a defensive when you need it, and working in your active mitigation. You don't have to worry about threat or anything. I think ICC was like that too, but yeah.
Right. Yeah, you don't have to worry about threat or anything like that. It's pretty cool.
Shark, you should do 2-minute videos with tips on how to tank.
Should I?
No. That's already.
I don't think
just do your active mitigation things.
Just do your active mitigation. Well, what I'm saying is it's simpler than it used to be.
We have the 2-minute.
I'm not saying it's easy. I'm a tank myself. I know it's not easy.
We have the 2-minute tips taken care of by other peeps on this show. Tatva and Tova do a wonderful job. And
3-minute thrips.
I think they've got now that I think they just hit a milestone because of all the Legion raid things.
50,000.
50,000 YouTube subs. Congrats, guys.
That's ridiculous.
That's awesome. All right, I'm jealous, so I'm going to turn that off.
They're our friends. We know that.
I have 17
YouTube subs.
I'm almost there. Yeah,
nice work. Johnny John. What's been going on with you lately? Because you've been playing lots of stuff.
Oh yeah, just not Hearthstone. Hearthstone, I just kind of took off for the rest of the month because, well, I got a slow start, and it's a much more difficult slog through the ranks if you're not playing the first week or so. Even though you're playing better players. Mm-hmm. You're playing a more consistent archetype, so it's a little bit easier to manage. But more than anything, I'm going to bring this up a lot on this show. I've been really salty about not getting a legendary. I think I ran almost 40 mythic pluses last week and did all the LFRs. all the normal and heroics except for Nighthold.
We actually ran a bunch together too. So
yeah, we did, Pat. People don't say it ever on this show.
What?
And I think we goon you up a little bit, but you're a good healer.
Thanks.
You're a good healer.
Thank you. I've been at it a while, so I know my stuff a little bit here and there.
I was pleasantly surprised. I'm like, this guy should do a WoW podcast.
Okay.
Well,
all right. Sweet.
Here we are.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, that was a lot of fun though, because we actually ran quite a few Mythic Pluses with it was you and me, and sometimes it would be some of the guys from the Convert to Mythic team.
Yep.
Like Tatva and
one of
Pasha
my buddies, Harmful.
And Harmful was there, and I don't even know who else was there. Everybody.
Yep.
So
Lots of people.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it was even better getting that cash this week, because we ended up clearing. Did we clear at +8? I think
I got a +11.
10, +11.
Ooh.
I got a +11
something
cash.
like that.
So
nice
cash money.
Nice
with no legendary
dollar bills, yo. Yeah.
Come on, Giz.
And still no legendaries. Yeah, I wonder if something might be amiss with the legendary system.
Thank you.
I asked Tatbuzz, I'm like, did I miss like a level 101 quest somewhere that if you don't complete it, you don't loot legendaries?
Right.
Because
and
I think I did.
Maybe what it is when they took out so after people initially, like the big first surge of like play all the time, Mythic Raiders kind of went through and took all the legendaries, because there were guys that, you know, they were hitting 4 and then they would stay there because the good luck, whatchamacallit? What is it called? The
bad luck protection.
Good luck, Chuck.
Yeah. Bad luck protection was there so that you could get up to 4, and then after 4 it was gone. And then they removed it so that people could get more legendaries. The problem is I haven't gotten any, and I've been playing consistently and quite a bit. I mean, consistently. I've been doing emissary quests, I've been doing world quests, I've been doing Mythic Pluses, I've been doing raids, I've been doing LFRs, I've been doing all this other stuff. And something inside me says that I should have just like stumbled on one, like as I like cleared a tree stump in the woods somewhere, you know?
Not how it works.
Like a Diablo chest, just click on that corpse.
That's
but
exactly
it could work
how
that
it works.
way. It could work anyway.
Sure.
But it's all based on this role system, right? From heroic dungeons, mythic plus, raids,
I get
and caches, right? So you don't get them specifically for world quests.
No,
so
but
as far as farming legendaries go, it's only the emissary quests.
Well, and so, but people have gotten it through emissary caches.
Yep.
And so
that's right.
I've been clearing.
Not me either.
So that's world quests. I mean, completing world quests and then going back and getting the emissary cache, and then you go through and you open it up and bing dollar bam. There's I don't know. That's not a thing.
That's not a thing at all.
There's a legendary in there. No,
it's not a thing.
So, but I have not. I've had just the worst luck. So I don't even know. I don't know if there's something going on in the background. Like they said, we'll take out the bad luck protection for, you know, so that everybody can get everything, but we'll also take out any, you know, we'll just take out all the protection so that there's nothing there.
I keep going back to this, Sug. It's a broken system that doesn't work. It doesn't feel legendary to me at all. There are 15 different items that you can get per class, per spec. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but I mean, if they're going to if the system would have worked a little bit better if there's one legendary per class.
Yeah.
And you can get it, and maybe, okay, so let's do the RNG thing. And the more you try, the better chance you have, but there's one. And then when you get it, you've got it.
Right.
instead of having 1,000 other things that you have to do. And I got the good legendary, like the mage helm, for example, that does. John, why? Why, John? Why?
John is shaking his head.
Why doesn't that work?
I'll be coming at you in a second, Shark.
Well, garbage loot that you're getting that sits in your bag, and you wasted your chance at legendary loot on something you'll never use.
But that doesn't fix anything because they haven't even gotten one. So
right,
they don't have any junk sitting in there.
Once again, another problem. For some reason, that bad loot protection isn't working for our buddy John.
Yeah,
who's the only person that still thinks this is a good idea.
So
it is about you. I mean, and other players like you that have been playing since launch and still don't have their legendary.
Let's real talk for a second here, because while I am frustrated that I do not have a legendary, I think I've got 9 days played now at 110. I've got 690 kill points, which means that by like community sourced algorithms, I should be on my 3rd legendary by now. There are a few things that I think this system does well. So now what Mr. Sharku proposes is this kind of one legendary probably would have to super pare down that RNG, which means that like there's a lot riding, especially in the beginning of an expansion. There's a lot riding on that. Later in the expansion, it doesn't seem special or fun. Legendaries are tough, right? Some people want to take the super dictionary definition of legendary. You know, I want the freaking Sword of the Stone, one in the world, nobody else has it kind of thing. And I get that. I get that. I would like it if they could do like a sweet type of like Destiny system that when you get a legendary, it just rolls like a combination of really cool appearances and really amazing stats and a really cool proc. It's like you have 5 procs that you can get, but it at least doesn't look the same as every other one. Like there's cool ways they can do that. In my opinion, this is the best version of a legendary item that we have seen in World of Warcraft yet. That is not so exclusive that you need to re-roll classes to get it.
Right.
Well, a la back in the day when we had the whole Coltrane quest thing through Firelands for that.
Yep, the staff.
Like, yeah, like that was super, super legendary, and it was a grind and hard work, and you had a team rallying behind you. You couldn't just get that yourself because you completed 4 quests in a zone and got lucky. But they've got. My
God, John, I agree with you.
Well, there you go. So,
I mean, at that point, like, that was a legendary quest.
Well, wait,
like,
pause. Sorry, that was my bad. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine. I appreciate that.
What was that?
I almost feel like I have to throw out a fortune cookie or something.
I was trying to look through and see if I could find my sounder from way back in the day. Couldn't find it, but I did manage to hit a different button, so that's fine.
But that was not only was that a great experience for those people, like a truly epic experience. I'll say, maybe great's not the right word.
Yeah.
But also, I think as far as the show's concerned, that's my favorite moment the show's ever had because of how epic it was, and the work that you guys did into that the story mode that you did back there, the segment you did. It was a lot of fun. But that's the thing, this system is not legendary. You can say it's better or worse than what we did in Mists and Draenor, but some people do almost literally nothing and get their legendary.
Right. Well, and we're seeing
that. How does that feel legendary to those players? And then other players work and grind and then quit the game out of frustration because they've spent 3 months grinding and still don't have a legendary.
No resolve.
It's because
you'll get it.
It's because players have determined that either they need one, they deserve one, or they're supposed to get one at some point. And
actually,
this
the
and this
name
whole
of my next 3 tunes.
and
Need
this
one,
whole
deserve one, should get one.
This whole thing is kind of out of control because you have the haves and you have the have-nots, and we're seeing it in chat where we have a lot of haves that are speaking up and saying, "Oh yeah, I got all mine through emissary quests, through the emissary caches," and one has 8, one has 6, another one has I don't even know how many. But it's kind of one of those things where, yeah, all right, cool. But so you have the haves and you have the have-nots, and the have-nots believe they deserve one, or they're waiting for, and I think we talked about it on the show before, they're waiting for their legendary.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that it's still a chance for a legendary. It's not like you're automatically going to get one. However, a part of the news for 7.2, and this is still early, and I'm going to just kind of dive into this real quick.
Yeah, jump to it.
Is that oh wait, hold on a second, since we're doing news. All right. We're doing the news. Okay. So part of 7.2, and this is early, data mining has turned out information about being able to craft legendaries, which actually, you know what? For the problems that we're having during this show right now, I'm going to do this because
we'll see.
At least then you can determine if you get a legendary if they do this, right?
That's true. It might be not the fix we want, but the fix we need. Maybe.
However, I believe that Blizzard was saying that this is not necessarily going to be a thing. So they said, hey, whatever you're data mining, this is not finished at all. 7.2 just went up. We're experimenting with stuff, so we don't know exactly what's going to stick and what's not. So,
yeah.
So
and all they said is it should be legendary quality items. It's very different than getting 940 helms. Potentially.
Right.
Their direct quote was that none of the data mines should be, quote, taken as anything more than there will probably be some legendary items obtainable through crafting. So I doubt you're going to be able to craft the legendaries you have now. I thought maybe it was a craftable upgrade item for your legendaries.
Legendary Obliterum.
Like well,
legendary Obliterum.
You don't
maybe
even need that now
like
because
that? I don't know,
because now they have the what is
the
it?
Quest,
the essence of Titan,
the shards,
something.
essences, yeah.
So this week I actually went through that process, and the one legendary that I do have has now been touched by a Titan. So that's good. And it got upgraded from 910 to 940, so that's always nice.
Yeah.
So and if you have and if you have 8 legendaries, you have to grind a lot. I hope you're ready for it.
Darn! That sounds
I'm
so
sure they
tough.
are. I'm
8
sure they're
legendary
all
people.
Yeah.
Legendary this,
awful.
Legendary that. I think that Blizzard is aware. My biggest problem with it, I've said it before, and this is the last thing I'll say on the subject. This game should be about skill. No, I will. I'll stop after this. I promise. I love you, John. This game should be about skill and not about luck. And I know it mostly only affects the top end teams, but there are people that are highly qualified, incredibly skilled players that, based on skill alone, maybe should have spots on raid teams that are getting passed over people that have the right legendary, and they can eke out just that little bit more damage.
Yep.
So I as much as I want to say that there are some interesting parts to this system, that there's some good things about it, it bases the gameplay on luck. A little bit too much.
Well, and I will agree with you there. I think that the legendary system overall is pretty good, and I think that with 7.15 we saw a lot of changes to legendaries because they needed to make those changes. But I do agree with you that pure power legendaries, based on random chance in the environment that we've been in the Legion, doesn't really make a lot of sense because we know as players what's going to happen with that. And that is that raid leaders are going to game the system, especially if they're looking for groups in Group Finder. They're going to put weird, requirements for their raid, like you have to have a legendary, or you have to have the right legendary, or whatever it is. And as soon as that happens, then it's like, well, this isn't fun anymore. So, so pure power legendaries, I think, are not a great thing. However, I am glad for the system overall, and I'm glad that they made changes in 7.1.5. So just to make them all a little bit more even. So that's all good. That's all good.
All right. Yes, I just want to say here. So,
Gizmo, you're on the show.
Oh my God, where's
guys, I have legendary. I don't need to argue about not having one, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
No, I feel like with Blizzard's response to these crafted legendaries, it's going to be something real goofy. They're like, oh crap, people are expecting they're going to be able to make these items. When in reality, it's going to be like legendary profession items where it's like, oh, legendary pickaxe, you get twice the ore now.
Oh my God.
Hey, you know what? Legendary is still legendary.
Yeah,
legendary bags.
It's gonna be
It's all about the loot. It doesn't even matter.
Legendary skinning knife.
Yeah, fishing pole.
Be great.
I just want that orange border, man.
Yeah,
give me that orange border.
Hey, if I can get legendary herbalism gloves, then I'll be down with that. I'll take that. I know that's the enchantment already, but
they're gonna buy your herbs off the auction house like a real WoW player.
Yeah, John's gonna be raiding, and they're gonna yell at him, John, you have your fishing pole equipped still. Yeah, but it's legendary.
Yeah, but it's
a legendary.
It's
orange. Still haven't got one.
It's orange, Dave. Just leave me alone.
Yeah,
that's great.
That's great. Those rays, those little manta rays in Stormheim are going to catch themselves. Right. Tatfa.
Nope.
Raid leader Tatfa.
Nope, they're not. They are not. All right, let's talk a little bit about Race to World first. I think I have some music queued up. Hold on 1 second. Yeah! All right, Race to World first is in action right now. And where are we sitting? Gizmo, do you have the
I have it pulled up.
You have it pulled up, Shark? All right, Shark. Where do we sit? What's going on?
Right now, Serenity is number 1 with 9 of 10 mythic. Or let me refresh this and make sure because I brought it up a second ago.
Oh boy! All right, we're already off the rails.
Serenity 9 of 10 mythic.
Yep.
And then Exorcist number 2, 9 of 10 mythic. Method number 3, 9 of 10 mythic. So they just the last thing we saw this afternoon.
Yeah,
they were 8 of 10.
Right. So,
and then from scratch is 8, limit and pieces is 7, entropy being the only alliance guild in one of the 3 alliance guild in the top 10 at 7 as well.
So that's pretty good. I mean, I was hoping that this race would go on for a reset, and it has. So I'm kind of happy about this, Gizmo. Well, what are your thoughts about the Race to World first right now?
I'm happy with it, and I kind of mentioned this. During back in the first world race here, with all these new systems they've implemented, it was going to be really hard to balance for the world race. And I think that they were able to do that, take that information they gathered from the first world race and, tune things correctly to stretch it out a little bit, just to make it, a little more exciting, a little bit more competitive. And they appear to have done that. It's, not over yet. Hopefully Gul'dan doesn't take like another 2 weeks or so. Right. But 2 weeks is a week to 2 weeks is going to be a pretty good, portion.
Yeah. I mean, that seems like the right amount of time. Johnny, there was a little bit of drama though, wasn't there?
Oh yes, I love the drama.
It's
yes. Give me some Dramamine here because we got some drama.
Yeah, what was the drama?
Some drama. So basically, we had a little thing going on here where, as we just learned, Method and Serenity are pretty close. Yeah. They're kind of tied, and they're in the top 3 right now.
Right.
And so what essentially happened is Jade Lulz,
yes.
What a great name, very creative. LOLZ, by the way. Sure, he's a phenomenal raider. And Isabella, another creative name. Come on, let's get better at these. I'm very particular about those names.
I'm good with it.
Anyways, what they decided to do is they were going to troll any Serenity players, but they grabbed a main player from Serenity's raid team, invited them into, I believe it was Nighthold, right? To give them like free flasks and pots and stuff like that, which, all right. Nothing in life is free, lady.
Yeah.
Shark, do you remember this conversation? When somebody offers you something for free, nothing in life is free.
Take it.
Kind of thing. We did this.
Please take it.
We had this whole thing.
When someone offers you something for free, take it and run.
Right.
Yep.
That was it.
That's exactly
the
right.
Wrong answer. Anyways, so this person did it, and basically they were able to grab that ID, and it essentially locked Serenity out of the raid for, as far as I know, a few hours.
Yeah, it was a couple.
I can't remember the.
It was like 2 hours.
It was like 2-3 hours, and it was just like, oh man,
2 hours. Yeah, from
you gotta be kidding me. And of course now the thing is that Sko, he's kind of he's the big man of Method. He's one of the main tanks of Method. He's like, yep. And guess what? This guy didn't do it with any of our blessing or approval or pre-planned it with us or anything like that. Yep. He's out. He's out of the guild.
They kicked him. I got a phone call saying, "Kick Tripod, we need you. Can you fill in?"
And he said, "I'm too busy.
You don't have a legendary." No. He said, "You don't have a legendary. You can't go."
And your garbage, mate.
That's funny.
Just kidding.
I'm trying to picture how this whole interaction went. Like, is Jade Lulz like, he's like, "Hey, Isabella, check this out. Watch this. We're gonna just offer some free flasks, and he's gonna take it." And what is that person?
And while he's
thinking,
and while he's doing that, you go into Mythic Nighthold and steal his ID, and yeah.
Well, and then why would and I don't know, maybe they are friendly like this, friendly competitiveness, but why would they be offering just free?
I don't know.
Consumables.
So I know the answer to this.
Oh, you do?
Actually, believe it or not, yes. So, the Serenity Raider, received an email from a Suramarian prince. Says that he has a great fortune waiting for him, and he just needs to meet him in the Nighthold, and his father's riches can be shared with him to the tune of a couple thousand flasks and pots.
Right.
So
I like it.
Those Suramarian princes, those scam emails are going around. Be careful, guys. They're not real. Nothing in life is free.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well,
nice.
And I think good on Sko for trying to.
It's one of those disappointing things, It's one of those things where you just kind of look at it and you go, "What is going on?" It's just all sorts of just kind of dumb. So.
I've met guys on both Method and Serenity. Most of the guys on Serenity when they were on Method, but still, like they're good guys, and I think there is a healthy rivalry between the two.
Sure.
I thought that when Serenity formed after Method kind of split, I thought Method, they were talking about, we're just going to focus on PvP and we're not going to worry about the world. They're still in the world first race.
Oh yeah, no, it was
all the time, and
right.
I think that's great for them.
Yeah, it was just that the guys from Serenity wanted a WoW focus. They wanted a WoW focus, and Method was like, "Nope,
they're spreading it out. Yeah,
we've
exactly.
got other games. We've got CS:GO over here. We've got other
trying
things
to be like
to do."
Yeah, like a gaming company like Cloud9 or Tempo Storm.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's, and I think Method is awesome. And like I said, there is kind of a healthy rivalry. I think.
Sure.
I don't know. There may be people that don't necessarily love each other on either side, but I think they do genuinely have respect for each other. I think Sko showed that by kicking Jade Lulz.
Yeah,
and just saying and apologizing and saying, guys, that does not reflect Method or the way we want to play.
And it was
good on him.
And Serenity was like, all right, well, we figured
whatever,
it out.
We're gonna beat you anyway. You can cheat.
Figured it out. So yeah, and they're ahead. And they're ahead by
they are. They're all on 9 of 10 right now, so Method could catch up, but Serenity has a lot more pulls.
That would just motivate me more, by the way. Like, if I was on Serenity, I would feel super motivated every pull, knowing that we are such a threat to other teams that they're
trying. They're
emails
trying
from Suramari and Princes just to try to get a leg up.
Yep.
So
and it wasn't just the reason Jade Lulz used was that apparently Serenity fans were trolling their server, Terran Mill. I don't know what if there's any proof of that, whatever. That was his excuse of why he did this and causing issues.
It's a lame excuse for a lame action for all sorts of stupid. So
it doesn't matter at all.
No.
You don't take stuff like that in your own hands. No. If you want to complain to Blizzard about it, fine. But they're not going to do anything because World First Race is a community thing.
Right.
I mean, if someone truly was trolling your site, that sucks.
Yeah.
And shame on them. But you don't. What are you gonna? Come on, man. What are you gonna do?
Right.
Trying to take another team down that had nothing to do with that.
Right. Yep.
That's silliness.
Yep. So the race continues, and so we have three teams at 9 of 10, which is good. So we should be seeing something happen, this week. Hopefully soonish would be good. I know that Method just down the what's the ninth boss? I can't remember the name. But they just downed them today, so they've got some work to do on Gul'dan before they're ready, and hopefully they can make it a tight race for everybody. So awesome. Good stuff. Let's talk a little bit about patch 7.2 because we kind of glossed over some things as we were discussing all of the things, and there are so many things happening in Legion for 7.2. It really is going to be kind of a crazy ride, it sounds like, from all the things that I've seen. But let's talk a little bit about a couple of things that you guys want to work toward, especially unlocking flying for 7.2 with the pathfinding stuff. So the pathfinding part 1 came out. What do we have to do, guys? What do we have to do? Who wants to take us?
I'll take it. Because I'm trying to work on it on my Death Knight because I finally unlocked the Court of Stars this week.
Hey, congratulations.
Yeah. But yeah, so you have to one of the biggest hurdles is going to be the Good Samaritan quest, the Good Samaritan achievement, which is basically all of the storyline quests in Suramar. In order to complete those storyline quests in Suramar, you have to be at a certain reputation to even open some of those storyline quests. And I think the last one is 20,000 rep into Revered already. So basically you have to get exalted.
Yep.
By the time you can complete all of these quests. So rep, and more rep with Suramar. The others, you only have to get to Revered for the other factions, and then you have to explore all the zones, and you have to do Lore Master, which is clearing the storylines. Most people would have cleared the storylines in the other zones while they were leveling.
Yeah, or at least really close to,
or be really, really close to it if you're not.
I had
like
15 quests left in Stormheim. It took me like 40 minutes.
Yep.
To get that. So it was amazing.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'm missing.
I know that I had to go and run through this week. I was like looking at it. I'm going, okay, what do I need other than rep with the Nightfall? And it was kind of like, okay, what do I need for rep or for all the other things? And I was like, oh, I need to explore like a couple of places in a couple of different areas. And so I'm like, all right, fine. I'll just go around. I'll see what's going on.
Completing your class order campaign is the other.
Yep.
And then completing 100 world quests. Most everybody will have picked these up if they've been playing.
And all the Illidan stuff as well, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's part of the order quests. So
is that your class order campaign?
Yeah, you complete the necessary Illidan stuff through
Isn't there something else? Because you have to collect 80 something from the end bosses,
part of it?
And I'm not sure if that's part of it or not. But
No.
I'm just guessing that there's probably something along those lines.
I don't think so, because I'm pretty sure I have this completed on mine, and if there was, that would be something nuts. Let me see. There's also a part 2, though, which is something that's important. Because part 1 is something that we can do now. So you can start working on that stuff now. You can complete the Samaritan. And I'm not going to say that right. All right. Let me see. Pathfinder part 2.
As he gets really close to the mic.
As I get really close to the mic and make it be. I'm still trying to get used to it.
Explore the Broken Shore, Defender of the Broken Isles, Legion Fall Commander, and Breaching the Tomb. So
it sounds a lot like what it was with the last flying patch in Draenor.
It almost sounds kind of more like Cataclysm, right? I mean, like the way that it's built. Or the way that it sounds like we're going to be building something up to fight the Legion and blah, blah, blah. Kind of like what we were doing in Cataclysm, right?
Yeah. So you have to explore the Broken Shore, which is the same thing as all the other zones. You have to explore that whole new zone. Repel Legion assaults on each of the Broken Isle zones, which that's the other thing. You guys talked last week about Legion invasions coming back. Did you?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we did.
I figured you did. I don't know. I listen to the show that I'm on all the time. But yeah, so you have to do those Legion invasions. And in the commander thing, like you said, or it's an exalted status. So there's another faction you have to get exalted with. And then breaching the tomb.
Yes.
And breaching the tomb, I think it sounds like a quest line, what you're talking about, building up the forces and things to get to unlock the raid or whatever, and then killing Sargeras. I'm probably will be part of that achievement as well.
Yep, and that sounds pretty cool. So that's something you guys can work on now. So make sure that you take a look at all the things for unlocking Pathfinding Part 1 anyway right now in your achievements and see where you're at, because I mean, it's nothing too hard. I mean, other than grinding rep, that's the biggest thing.
Which
I still think is stupid, but whatever.
Well, and most of it isn't time gated, except for when you get logged out of WoW. Most of it isn't time gated, which is kind of nice, except for the reputations. And as long as you aren't starting way behind, should be fairly attainable. I believe when the Legion stuff first came out, I still had 3 reputations to finish up, and I finished them all up in a day and a half. So, not like an actual day and a half, but it took me like 4 or 5 hours of actual playtime to do. So,
sure.
Finishing up those Lore Master quests were fairly easy. It's going to be the reputation grinds that are probably going to be the most time gated if you are starting this out late.
Yep.
So be doing that as much as you can, even if you're doing the daily emissary quest, and that's most of the extent. You should still probably be pretty close by the time 7.2 hits.
I'm thinking, this is my guess, that once the Broken Shore comes out, that there will be a dropped item on the Broken Shore, similar to, I can't remember what they were called in Draenor, but they were basically free rep, and you could sell them on the auction house.
Oh yeah, probably.
And that's how I got through my rep grind when because I quit the game for a while because I was busy with summer stuff.
Yeah.
But and then that was when all that was happening. I'm like, oh crap, I want to do this, but I do not want to go through the rep grind. So I'm betting that there will be some sort of catch up mechanic for the rep.
Oh sure, obviously. I mean, there's going to be at some point. We just need to figure out what it is. But I mean, at the same time, you can go through and try to get all your rep and get those emissary caches going so that you can get all of your legendaries that we're not getting.
Right.
Yeah.
Bam. So there.
Too soon.
Hey, so that's that. I want to talk about one other thing before I move on to some of the other games. And that was this. Rolling Stone actually picked up an interview with Ian Hazzikostas, which is weird, but it's kind of interesting. So I'm going to play the big applause, because that's always nice. I like seeing when World of Warcraft makes it into non-gaming magazines. I'll just say it that way. Non-gaming publications. And so they published some stuff, and it was really kind of cool just to see him. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it wasn't really anything too dramatic in there. Was there? Was there anything dramatic in there? I don't remember seeing anything.
Nah, just a lot of swagger in this article, I think.
There is.
Ian's got swag right now. He should.
You read through the whole thing, and not once does he gather any moss. So I'm pretty... Because it was in Rolling Stone.
Yeah, no, I got it.
He doesn't gather any moss.
Got it. Well, he doesn't anyway. He talks so fast. He says so many things, and he talks so fast. He's not going to do that anyway. So, so there is that. John left.
There is.
John just took off.
He was so done with that. I'm pretty sure that was a drinking game moment, by the way. If anybody's playing,
I did not laugh at it, so that's not the Gizmo laughs at something that's not funny.
Well, but if you laughed at it, it was funny, so it wouldn't have been. So get out.
Debatable.
Get out. I do love the psychedelic picture, by the way. You guys really need to check out the World of Warcraft article in Rolling Stone. There's a very psychedelic picture of Ian
just
with
looking tough. He's just looking
trippy.
tough.
He's looking. It's definitely a mugshot photo.
Oh yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah. For sure.
And there's some trippy Illidan artwork behind him. It's really great. You need to check it out.
Yeah. Looks like a white rapper.
It's the best part. He does. He really does.
Yeah, kind of. But but inside the thing on Rolling Stone, it's what is it? 3 things learned from World of Warcraft. So from Ian essentially, and about Legion and so on. And there was a bigger article as well, and I'm trying to remember where that was.
Glixel.
What was it?
Glixel.
Glixel.
Glitch and pixel. Glixel.
Glixel. Easy to say. Even easier to spell.
Work on that name, guys.
Even
click
easier
on
to
that
spell.
link, and it's an even trippier picture.
But in that one, it was like kind of this bigger piece on how they bounced back from Warlords, and it's kind of cool. So it all makes sense, and I think we've talked about all of that stuff on this show. So I don't think we necessarily need to go into it, but
we should write for Rolling Stone.
But interesting articles. Maybe you should. Maybe.
No.
Maybe.
Nope.
Maybe.
Too much work. Real work.
Way too much work. But you guys can go check that out. And congrats to the entire Warcraft team for making it into other publications outside of the gaming realm. All right. Let's move on to Heroes of the Storm.
Let's jam.
ETC. So awesome. Now, Gizmo, it's been a couple of weeks since we've talked about Heroes of the Storm, and I know that there's been a lot going on because we saw the addition of Valeera last week.
We did.
And I want to check in with you and see how Valeera is performing.
So Valeera feels awesome right now. If you have played a rogue in World of Warcraft and you enjoyed it, you would really love Valeera. The way that she has set up her talent system is incredible. They're getting much better at creating talent trees that aren't falling to one build with a few variations. Mm-hmm. They're getting much more situational talents just based against the comp you're playing against, which is really cool. And it makes it really hard to kind of figure those heroes out. So it's just kind of fun to tinker around, especially, the first week or so, to kind of see what works and what doesn't. She won't be, it's going to be hard to see where she fits, as far as the competitive scene, just because they play on older patches. They're actually on the last patch, I believe, until week 4 of the HGC. So it'll be a while before we see her in there. But we'll see if, starting this next week, I start seeing her in a ranked player or not. I haven't yet. So really, really good addition there. Cool. But we also had Heroes of the Dorm announced this year. And
wait, let me do this. All right, go ahead.
All right, so it's going to start on February 15th with group stages, and then the Heroic Four is going to start April 8th, along with the finals. But the big news on this is the last 2 years, this was streamed on not streamed, it was on ESPN2.
On ESPN2.
To where you could watch it.
It was on the Ocho.
The Ocho. This year, it is not on ESPN. It is not on TV. It is not on Twitch. It is on Facebook Live. And that is the reaction from a lot of people. Yep. And it's really interesting here. So there are articles on both sides from different sources. You know, the more sports side, people are saying, oh, ESPN is just trying to get away from esports. They had this the past 2 years. And for TV ratings compared to regular programs, the ratings just weren't that great. It may have been good for an esport, but that they're not making money off it. So that is one theory. We don't know if it's true. The other theory is Blizzard has been pushing this partnership with Facebook now. We can live stream directly from the client. Yep. Maybe this is just another step that they decided to take to go towards Facebook. The issue with this is, and a reason a lot of people are upset, one, the Facebook streaming right now isn't the greatest quality.
No.
Video quality. The sound isn't the greatest quality.
Yep.
People don't want to have to be forced to get Facebook to watch this, which they don't actually have to.
Correct.
But Facebook is just a weird place for games. Like we have places for that. Twitch. So I don't know. I am thinking that Facebook is kind of trying to get more into the gaming. Maybe we'll see, a complete new functionality added to Facebook to be more interactive for gamers, because gamers just don't use Facebook for gaming right now. They use Twitch, they use Twitter. So it'll be interesting. Maybe they're going to touch an audience that maybe they wouldn't have touched on ESPN. Maybe it'll be advertised where, people who don't even know anything about gaming just see it on their timeline. So I don't know.
And that's kind of what I was thinking when I saw the announcement about Facebook, was maybe they're trying to reach a new audience and they're trying to break out from something. And I get why they're not on ESPN, because I don't think it's fair to viewers to make them go through a paywall of ESPN, where if you're not watching basketball and football and stuff like that, you're not gonna grab ESPN for one esport tournament.
Yeah, and a lot of people didn't have access to ESPN, period. Even if they wanted to get access to it, they couldn't.
Yep, and so it's kind of one of those things. I get why they're getting away from ESPN, and I'm totally fine with that, because it wasn't working for whatever reason, and I just think the gamers don't live there. Fine, go away from that. However, the Facebook Live thing, all the concerns are there with video quality and sound quality and quality. Yeah. All those kinds of things. But I do think that the audience thing is kind of interesting, because they can reach a new audience, and Facebook does have a big audience, a big base to out there to be able to be attracted to that. However, I'm not sure if that's necessarily going to happen.
Yeah, it says I have 1.8 billion Facebook users.
Right.
The thing that's kind of a shame about it not being on ESPN. There was a lot of people that were talking about how, hey, I was a gamer. I have a whole bunch of friends who played console games here and there, but didn't really get into gaming seriously. They happened to watch this with me. They got really into it. Hey, now they are playing Heroes of the Storm, and they're getting into other Blizzard games.
Right.
Now that could potentially still happen on Facebook. Sure. But, it's going to be a lot of moms and grandmas going, what the heck is this on my timeline?
What is little... Oh, wait, I hit the wrong thing. I hit the wrong button again. I hit the wrong button again.
Look at these cute cartoons playing
the other
video
thing
game.
Is, if you thought 50-year-old men being angry because there were video games on his football box was bad when they were having it on ESPN, just imagine... I'm terrified... I don't know. I'm afraid of the trolls and the bullies and the people that if you're watching it or liking it or something like that, I don't know. I have no faith in humanity right now in general. So maybe this is just from a different place out in left field completely.
Well,
I also think Facebook's a hot steaming pile of garbage. But
it's 1.8 billion people steaming pile of garbage. So I mean, I think the thing that is the difference between ESPN2 and Facebook Live is that ESPN2 is one channel where you have one thing to do.
Yeah.
You have one thing to watch, the only one thing that you can watch, and that is it on ESPN2. On Facebook, you have 100 different things that you could do. So you can totally ignore the video game that is being promoted on your homepage and steer away from that and go somewhere else. Go do Farmville. I don't know if that's a thing anymore. I don't really Facebook either. So, John, you are raising your hand. You do not know the rules here. The rules here are just talk over somebody until you finally get word in edgewise. Go ahead.
That's exactly right.
I'm practicing my Facebook etiquette and waiting to speak my mind.
All right.
Anyways,
that was a good joke.
There's a few things I want to hit on.
Yeah.
First and foremost, get used to not seeing esports on TV. It's got nothing to prove anymore.
No.
It was a great thing to say, look what they can do. Monetization is different. Advertisements in 3, 4, 5-minute blocks of commercials do not work for a demographic that is largely installed ad blockers on everything.
Right.
So there's already that.
And
right?
John, actually, it's probably the other way around. Like, TV has everything to prove to younger folk that are really into esports and all that kind of stuff because
I have no reason to have a cable subscription right now.
Younger people are not watching broadcast television, so it doesn't even matter anymore. TV needs to prove something to esports lovers, not the other way around. So, yeah, you're absolutely right there. Go ahead with the rest of your thoughts. Sorry.
So that's first of my manifesto to use
manifesto.
to Sharks things from. Second is you don't just want to put your content where people are now. You want to put your content where you believe people will be. And in my opinion, this is Blizzard stating, whether explicitly or implicitly, that they believe that the future of mainstream esports may or may not be Twitch. And that's a really
I think
tough
that's fair
thing to say. Now, again, this is speculation. Like, I would never be, just like try to like, oh, that's obvious. This is okay. Some of it is just simply Heroes hasn't done that great on Twitch. When's the last time that you see it? Go ahead. Tell me how great Heroes does outside of their biggest majors of the year.
Well, now it's not biggest majors of the year. It's
or their
games every weekend, and they have been in the top 10 on Twitch since HGC started.
So top 10? Are you kidding
However,
me? Like, don't get me wrong, top 10, cool. But the difference between those top 3 games and where Heroes of the Storm are sitting, like it's a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Hearthstone has one major tournament with one major sponsor, and they're number 1, 2, or 3 consistently. Overwatch, the same thing. Heroes, well, that's one of their big esports bets, has not done that. I'm not saying that they're not doing fine on Twitch, but I'm saying if you have 2 other titles already doing better, and you have kind of this it feels to me, and again, I'm a bit outside of the Heroes community, so a lot of this is outside looking in, knowing people like you and Jules, and I have Kevin Hovdestad, who's now working at Blizzard, and stuff, and knowing those people and how it's always kind of been this game that's amazing, but in overall viewership, for some reason, hasn't been able to get there. It might just be, well, now's the time to make that bet and say, let's build a community here where we think it can be long-term, instead of let's try to shove our way up into this thing here. And also, creators have a lot of interesting control as far as monetization and stuff like that with Facebook Live, specifically something at that side. Of that size.
Okay, so my guess is that it's a couple of different things. So if they are top 10 in Twitch and they are doing okay, but not,
and they are growing. The viewership, right. I mean, from last week or the first week to this week, last weekend, I mean, it was increased on average about 5,000 to 6,000 viewers, which again, compared to the top, isn't huge, but it was like a 33% increase in growth in 1 week.
So. That's great. But maybe what it is there's a couple of different things. Number one, Facebook could be partnering with them somehow and doing something monetarily so that Blizzard is like, yeah, you know what? We'll go with you for this tourney. Beautiful. So there's that possibility. There is, and that's probably at least part of the equation. And then there's another thing where Blizzard takes a look at it and says, you know what? We're already doing these weekend games and our audience is growing there. But if we're going to get into that top three, if we're going to try to get a lot more ground as far as audience goes, a lot more hype for the game, we got to go to where people are. Not just gamers, because the gamers have already found the game, and for whatever reason, they're not really latching on as much as they are with some other games. So maybe go to Facebook Live for at least for a tournament, one big tournament in a year, and go and try to see how that works and see what the stats look like and see if that's something that can work for us in the future, or at least build our audience for our weekly stuff that we're doing. So
yeah, and they've been testing the waters out with this because second week of HGC was actually on Facebook as well as Twitch.
Okay.
So they're testing the waters, which I think is very important just from the quality side of it to get that up to par for Heroes of the Dorm. But I am, I'm not as upset about this as I was last week. After sitting back to think about it, look at it, because I do think Facebook does and Blizzard have big plans for this, even though it's kind of feels like a little step back right now. The
feels
potential
long term
of it
to me. Well, it feels really long term.
I don't know. I mean, they were also talking about getting on MySpace, and no, they weren't. They weren't talking about that. They weren't talking about that at all. Just
John left again.
All the guys just went deadpan. It was really great. It was awesome.
Gentlemen, that was awesome. I can't believe John's not going to be here to hear me say this. Hold on.
I kept my headphones on because I knew something was coming.
I think you've convinced me. I think that it makes a lot of sense. I'm a big fan of rather than smashing your head against the wall.
Right.
If that's not going to budge, go around the wall. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it seems like you guys are saying that Blizzard's trying to do. The ESPN2 thing, I agree, didn't really work. It was awesome. It was cool. And as a gamer, it made me feel kind of special. Like, oh, look, we're on TV.
Validation.
Validation, right. But yeah, I can see where the numbers weren't there. It makes logical sense to me. So this also makes logical sense to try something new. Yeah. My only problem is Facebook.
Yeah, I know it's still not a great solution for us. I don't think.
We'll see. Maybe I'm completely wrong. And like I said on the show before about lots of things, please prove me wrong. Well, I would be happy to be wrong about the negative crap that I think.
And hopefully Facebook Live that system gets a little bit of an overhaul before this tournament because
needs it.
It does. It really does. So I mean, you could never run Overwatch on that. I've tried. And it looks like garbage. It looks like hot garbage. And so hot garbage. But you can. I mean, Heroes is a different game, and so maybe it's okay, or maybe they're working to improve it. So
Heroes is an interesting game in an interesting predicament when compared to the other Blizzard IPs, especially. You can make an argument that World of Warcraft, Diablo, StarCraft, even though RTSs for the most part are going out, Hearthstone, and in overall numbers, you can argue that CSGO is still the bigger FPS.
Yeah.
There's so much momentum with Overwatch. You can argue that all 5 of those are industry leaders or top tier competitors. Mm-hmm. Just above Heroes of the Storm, you've got 2 other MOBAs, and those 2 MOBAs sit in 1 through 3 consistently.
Yeah.
And that's really tough. That's a really difficult predicament. And so I don't think Facebook Live's tools are good enough to be better than Twitch.
Nope.
I find it far more inconvenient to go to Facebook Live than Twitch. I like to separate out my lives a little bit. Like Twitter is where my, public persona is, and Twitch is where my gaming social media happens, and Facebook is where I've got all my uber conservative friends and family, and uber
and you
liberal
scream
ones
about free
too.
healthcare or something,
right?
You got grandma and Aunt Sally, and
none of us are Facebook friends. At least I am not Facebook friends with anybody else on this show currently, as it stands.
You can be my Facebook friend.
How can that, is there a way that can or should change? Does Blizzard want that to change? Is there...
I'm writing a note. I'm writing a note that says add John on Facebook.
Well, I think that's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a good point, John.
Gizmo and I are friends.
Because I would get very concerned for my not that I'm ashamed of my gaming persona or being Sharku or being on the show or anything like that, but if I was the same person on Facebook that I was on Twitter, for example, I think I would annoy a lot of people. It makes sense to me. Facebook has always been like a friends and family.
Yeah.
This is my real life, and then my gaming life. Not that it's different, but people see me in a different way. I have a different community, and that's where I can feel comfortable and safe to share that kind of stuff.
Right.
It makes sense. That makes sense. And maybe that's why I don't feel good about the Facebook Live
thing. And Twitch is such a safe space for gamers that they troll each other all the time on the chat and stuff like that. It's horrible.
So you guys. I don't know.
Let's move on. We'll see exactly how everything plays out with that, with the Heroes of the Dorm, but that's coming up. When is that coming? That
is starting on February 15th, the group stages, but the Heroic 4 and National Championship is April 8th.
Okay. So let's move on to Hearthstone.
Well met.
So John, you do a show called Well Met. Or on the Blizz Pros.
Very clever sounder. I wish I would have thought of that.
I know. I use it every week. So what's going on? What's going on with the magical card game known as Hearthstone? Heroes of Warcraft.
There's a few things going on currently in Hearthstone. The big one for me, and we kind of just touched on this, Hearthstone claimed $395 million in 2016.
Wow.
That's a big number. And for the record, the next most popular digital CCG or TCG, 100 million.
Wow.
Literally 4 times the size of the next competitor.
That's craziness.
That's a lot of money, and they're only giving me $2 million to be a world champion this year. So, come on, just kidding. It's a joke. Carl, put down the keyboard. It's a joke. It's a joke. We're not complaining about prize purses for real. Anyways, so that's an amazing thing. People love opening those card packs. I tell you.
Gosh,
it's something magical. So that's the first thing. Second thing, the Hearthstone meta has been in quite a stale state here for about the last 5 to 6 weeks. The pirate package is what we call it, is rampant on the ladder right now. And the most popular deck archetypes, and typically the strongest, run either the small-time Buccaneer and Patches combo that you can run on turn 1, get a super strong start, or you run Kazakis and Reno. The latter is virtually dominated with that. Ben Brode and other developers, I believe Mike Donay did a interview as well, either this week or last week, and I think Peter Whalen did too, all talking about the strength of those cards and how those things can change. It's been a really interesting time for Hearthstone. While we've seen great overall class representation and diversity in deck archetype, we're still seeing very similar card pools overall. So it's kind of an interesting time. We're probably going to see some changes pushed here, I would guess, sometime here in early to mid-February. If I had to guess. If I were a betting man, I would say that those things would be changing.
You shouldn't bet because your luck is awful.
I don't bet on me getting legendaries. No.
You don't have a legendary.
I'm
I'm making an educated guess.
Do not
Are
bet.
you talking
Making
about
an educated guess.
a new adventure announcement or card balance?
No, some card balance. We already know that we're going to see some stuff with Arena. They're going to start publishing Arena not tier lists, but top players like they do on the ladder, who finishes the highest. Yeah. In this case, I believe it's like the most 12 win runs in a month with a minimum of like so many runs.
Aren't we due for an adventure soon though? Isn't it like 3-month cycles?
We will. It's typically 4-month cycles.
4 months. So November.
We know that, December 1st is when Gadget Sand came out.
Okay. So we're looking at...
We know the Winter Championships are March 20th through the 22nd, or March 24th through the 26th, somewhere right in there, right over spring.
In the Bahamas, right?
In the Bahamas. Yep. So we know that that's then. Blizzard will do one of two things. Release something at the very beginning of March, which I don't think they will do, or release something right after the Winter Championships, so that there's not all this flux going on. So we likely have 2 or so more months of this, which means that I think we're going to see changes soon, especially with how straightforward and public they've been with their communication.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. Cool. Yeah. Awesome. Hey, I do want to hit this now, and I'm going to go to StarCraft 2.
I can dig that.
Yeah. So we've got a couple of different things happening. Patch 3.1 is out. And by the way, Totalbiscuit is an announcer in StarCraft, which is really, really cool. And I want to do a big applause for that. So if you know John Bain, he's owned a StarCraft 2 team. So he's been a big part of the community, and it's always nice when they give back like that and really try to showcase a guy that has been a huge fan of StarCraft 2 for a long, long time. And so it's always nice when that happens. So now he's in the game. That's great. So you'll be able to get like his voice telling you all sorts of different things that are happening in the game. It's pretty cool. And another thing, I don't know exactly what's happening with the balance testing, and I don't think you guys necessarily play StarCraft 2 a lot, especially like competitively or anything like that, the guys on the panel here. But they are starting to do balance testing, which is weird to me. I have thought that there is no way that StarCraft 2 would ever really do balance testing because everything is so even in that game. But apparently not. So they're starting balance testing today, and it looks like, where's it at? It's in the testing section of multiplayer. So you can check out all the full changes there and see what's going on. But it's just kind of like one of those weird things where when I think of StarCraft 2, I don't think of a lot of updates. I don't think of, like they don't heavily change the meta or anything like that. Nope. It doesn't seem like that anyway. And so when I see something like that, it's kind of like, I wonder what's going on.
Yeah, I find it really interesting because it shows, they wouldn't be making, balance changes and be willing to test them if they weren't still heavily pushing StarCraft, which is good news considering, what all happened in South Korea over, that's 4 or 6 months ago. So they're still counting on it as a big esport, and all their other games have a lot of test servers and PTR servers to test the changes to make sure what is coming into the game actually works. So it's good news for the game.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Or they're making players test it because all the other developers are going on to work on other games. Dead game. Just kidding. Not
Whatever.
Dead game, but
whatever.
Maybe that honestly though,
Old
maybe
game.
No.
Yeah.
For real, if you're going to start doing testing like this, that was either formally done internally or not required. If it wasn't required before and it's required now, I don't know. Yeah, probably. But if it was required and now it's they're opening it up to the public, it does mean that it frees up more balanced testers' time to work on other things for the game or for other things. So
I think
the new mysterious project everyone's disappearing to.
Oh, the new mysterious project. Yes, there is that. There is that. No, I think it's just a normal.
Like I don't want to upset any StarCraft players. I don't think it's a dead game at all.
I think it's just a normal thing. So don't worry about it. All right.
Are we still talking about StarCraft?
Yes.
It's like I didn't mean to do this.
We're now done.
We did it.
We're now done talking about StarCraft 2, and we'll talk about Overwatch.
Oh, this is my jam.
Yes. So, John, you also do a show about Overwatch.
Yes.
And there is something happening to the large turret known as Bastion. What's going on?
Yep. The big pain in my rear, Bastion Belvedere. So Bastion is needing some love here. We haven't seen him get much play at high-end play, and a lot of people think he should be there because there's a lot of valuable things that Bastion can do, but for one reason or another, he's just not seeing that play. So Jeff Goodman took to the forums to elaborate a little bit on what they're working on, and what he said they're working on is in recon mode. So that's when he used running around.
Yeah,
they're going to reduce the spread, so the bullets are going to be more close to your crosshair on screen.
Yeah.
And there's even a possibility on some healing stuff, which I'll touch on in a second, but reducing the spread and making the magazine larger so you can shoot more before you have to reload, which takes like 2 seconds for Bastion, which is a long time. In Sentry mode, they're also looking at potentially making it a bit more powerful in a few different ways. He didn't expand too much on that, but he did say that the trade-off of that would be removing headshots for Bastion and continuing to be more of a tank and a shield buster, not a sniper.
Oh. I gotcha.
So that would be the trade-off. But it also, when you heal as Bastion, if you're taking damage, it interrupts the heal.
Yeah.
What they would do then with the healing portion of it is they would make it a resource mechanism very similar to how D.Va's defense matrix works.
Mm-hmm.
But you couldn't interrupt it, and you can also cast it on the run. So you can be running as Bastion and healing yourself, which could be pretty cool. So he touched on that for Bastion.
Huh.
Yeah.
Cool. So overall, the TLDR is he needed some help. He's getting some help. And he will be nigh unstoppable in casual mode.
Yep.
Right? Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Just be thankful that they took away no hero limit. Just
All
be
right.
thankful.
All right. Well, so that's Overwatch. Now we'll move on to esports.
Let the suffering commence.
No, that's not right. Goldan, get out of here. So esports, what's going on? Gizmo, we'll start with heroes because HGC is a big thing that's going on right now, right?
It is. And it is amazing and everything I could have wished for. We are going into week 3 here coming up. So we've had 2 weeks. If you guys haven't checked it out, make sure to do so. So there's 4 games not every, there's a few bye weeks, but most Friday, Saturday, and Sundays, 2 EU and 2 NA games. The production quality has been incredible. Just really amazing and exciting games. But we have some surprising stuff as far as standings so far. So on the NA side, after 2 weeks, we have Team 8 and Tempo Storm, which Tempo Storm was Astral Authority.
I'm still mad that Team 8 changed their name. I'm still upset about it. And I understand why, because nobody wanted to pronounce this stupid thing in the first place, because it was you ate my hot doge, which is great. I thought that was amazing. Team 8 is boring.
Well, it was Chew 8 my hot doge, and then I think they changed it to something else, and then Chew 8 left. He dropped from the team.
Oh, all right.
Which was a big deal, a mess.
I get it now. I get it.
So now they're Team 8. And they didn't look super great during the qualifiers for the HGC, but they look amazing right now. They've been playing really good, as well as, again, Tempo Storm, which was Astral Authority. The surprising things here, B-Step, yes, was, why can't I think of their previous name? Anyways, it has Cloud 3 9. Members but after Cloud9. Starts with a D. But they have 3 members from Cloud9 who are the 2015 world champions at Blizzard. They are 0-3 right now, so struggling a little bit. Yeah, Ouch. They've had some rough matchups in the first couple
Thank you.
Here.
It was Denial.
Denial Esports. There it is.
Yep.
So really good things going on in there. Again, the games have all been fantastic. And then over on the EU side here, real quick, we have Team Expert and Misfits, which are now 3-0, with Team Dignitas and Fnatic, who represented Europe at Blizzard this last year, are 2-1. And then B Genius and Tricked Esports are the 0-3 teams. So overall, the system's just amazing. The new website that they have makes everything super easy to track. You can see when the games are going on, and it's ramping up to be a super exciting competitive season in Heroes of the Storm.
Cool. Very cool. Overwatch, John, what's happening?
Quite a few things going on. Apex Season 2 is still in full swing. Those games are played on, I believe, Tuesday morning, so this morning. And then I believe it's Thursday or Friday morning, Korean time. This time. So most people will be sleeping. So that's going on. This goes on through like April, and it's still in group stages, so there's not everyone has even played through one yet, but it's some of the best Overwatch that you will see, the best the best quality Overwatch that you will see from a production value standpoint. And you can find that at twitch.tv/OGN Global was where you can find the VODs for that. We also just finished up with the NGE Winter Premiere, which went on at PAX South.
Yeah.
And it was an amazing finale. It's kind of tough because Winter Premiere kind of got overshadowed a little bit by Apex Season 2. A lot of teams dropped out or decided not to accept the invitation at all to NGE because they were going to go to Apex Season 2. And so people were just kind of like, who are these people? And there was some names that people weren't sure about and stuff, but it was an amazing finale. Immortals takes down Ghost, which was formerly Kangarna. They were signed by Ghost Gaming earlier this week. It was kind of a surprise snatch.
Yeah.
And the same roster played at the finals, but they are now 3 of them, Ajax, Connor J, and I forget the other player, are not staying with the team moving forward. But very interestingly, Luminosity and Immortals were both invited to the Alienware Monthly Melee earlier this last week. I believe it was last Wednesday. Immortals declined the invitation and dropped out last minute because they wanted to focus on NGE. And Luminosity is like, no, we want to play this, and decided to play it for whatever amount of reasons that could be. And Luminosity did not show up well at the finals, and Immortals won it all. So they made the right choice.
Nice.
When it comes to that. That was $100,000 tournament. I believe the team splits 50,000.
That's great. That's awesome.
So pretty big deal. Great esports all around.
Cool.
And small plug for Hearthstone. The ESL Trinity series is going on right now. It's a team league, 7 weeks long. We're in week 3. And it is the most fun and the best Hearthstone I have seen in a long time. They take 3 players versus 3 players. They're on a Skype call like we are now, talking through plays, and you can listen to that during the tournament. That's Wednesdays and Thursdays at twitch.tv/ESL_Overwatch. Starts at like 10 or 11 in the morning.
That sounds like a good way to do it. It sounds like a very interesting thing. So that's awesome.
Great.
Anything else here, fellas? Because otherwise we're going to get out of Dodge. So why don't we just do this? And we'll go around the room and we'll just say what if there's anything big going on this week for you guys. Gizmo, you have a show tomorrow night, right?
Correct. Lords of the Storm, and it is a big one for us. We're super excited for it. It is episode 100.
Hey, congratulations, buddy.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we're really excited for that. So if you guys can want to come join in on the festivities, that is going to be at 10 p.m. Central tomorrow night, which is Wednesdays. But we're going to have a lot of giveaways. We're going to take some time to just look back on our path to 100 episodes. But of course, we're also going to get down to business, get into a Valeera build, get you ready to get her into the Nexus, and give you the latest on HGC.
Very cool. Very cool. And Shark, anything big for you going on this week? Are you streaming at all or anything like that? You and your freshly shorn beard? I don't know.
Just making faces in the camera.
All right.
That's
cool.
all I'm doing.
All right.
No, I might be streaming a little bit. I'm trying to, now that I got the new setup going and people can listen to my stream without being like, we can't hear you. Why does it sound like you're talking through a microwave?
Yep.
It'll help a little bit. So, I might try to get the stream back going up, but nope, lots of work stuff. I don't know if you know I'm a professor, and I used to be a comedian, and guys, you should be drinking.
Through all of his jobs. Oh, boy. All right.
Here goes John.
Get out of here. Johnny, you got anything going on this week, bud?
Yeah, I am streaming at twitch.tv/CakeTripod quite a bit. I've been streaming a lot of WoW.
Yep.
And it's been a lot of fun.
Cool.
The Payload Thursdays, 7 p.m. Pacific, twitch.tv/BlizzPro. Well Met, Sundays, 7 p.m. Pacific, twitch.tv/BlizzPro. We've got That's Admirable, who is a phenomenal player, and even more phenomenal caster for Hearthstone. He's going to be joining us this Monday because it's the Super Bowl. We're delaying the show, so it's going to be Monday, 7 p.m. Pacific time.
I don't think you can call it that name. I think you have to say it's the big game. Pretty sure. Because it's trademark. I'm just saying. Anyway. So you can follow John at Kick Tripod on Twitter and Sharku_CTR and Gizmo Zord and me. I'm at Pat Crane on Twitter.
Like John just stopped talking.
He just stopped talking. He's just staring and he's like, "Am I going to get in trouble?" No, you're fine. You're fine. So I'm gonna play this music and move it along. So now, if you guys want to join in on the conversations that we're having at any time, make sure to join us wherever we are. You can always email us at convertraid@gmail.com. You can call and leave comments and questions on our raid line, 612-787-RAID. That's 612-787-7243. And yes, it is still active. You can follow us on Twitter at ConvertToRaid, or you can join the Bazooba Guabo Nation by heading over to ConvertToRaid.com, where we have show downloads, forums, videos, audios. We have our Discord stuff over there, so you can check it out. Guild stuff. It's all over at ConvertToRaid.com. We also are on the Eye of Tunes. We are on the U of Tubes and many other places on the internet. So just look up internets and you will find Convert to Raid. Still doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound like it's going to work. I don't know. Convert to Raid Presents is produced and distributed by Signals Media. Make sure to check out all of our friends at the Signals Media All-Star Network at signalsmedia.com. That's going to be it for the show. Thanks, fellas. Thanks, Twitch peeps out there. And thank you guys at home, in the car, wherever you are. It's been fun. It's been real. It's been real fun.
That guy in the car picking his nose needs to stop. That's disgusting.
No, that is disgusting. That's not good.
Stop it right now.
So we better get out of here because that's gross. For all the guys on Convert to Raid, bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.